association that the life force somehow or other keeps flowing, and even if in some ways we get stuck, like as Franklin, I got stuck. I won't part with my money for my computer. At least not yet. And so the life force flows around like a river, flowing down a mountainside. If one thing stops it, it goes in different directions. The life force keeps flowing. The life force keeps flowing. I don't know why, but I'm feeling, again, that special vulnerable point in my body is in the corner of my right eye, and all of a sudden I'm feeling some moisture there. What does it have to do with something? I don't know. I don't feel like particularly sad, but somehow I'm feeling moisture there. I don't know. So the life force flowing down the river. Now that's a nice important image. The river flowing down the mountainside towards the great ocean. Towards the great ocean. Towards the great ocean. Maybe some kind of music to go with that image. An image flowing, water flowing down, rushing down the ocean, rushing down the mountain towards the great ocean. Water going down, with powerful force taking me along, even if I get stuck here and there. So if I stay with the need to grow, if I stay with this need to grow somehow, do one dream, another dream, and stay with this river, the phenomenology of the spirit, whatever you like, stay with the river. So if one image doesn't flow, another one flows. The important thing is to somehow keep like NACHMAN says, it's here also, not to despair. If I get hung up here, well, just keep going with a certain amount of faith in the work, and another door will open, another gate will open, another small voice, another small child will cry out to Moses and begin to learn the Torah, to begin to take a path, Torah latur, to seek, to grow, to grope. So all of a sudden, the Franklin image got stuck, impasse. But the Oriental Lady image somehow or other kept flowing. And led me to another point. Point of the water, association to that story of NACHMAN of Breslov. The heart of the world and the spring. So the spring is the water flowing down from the top of the mountain. And the heart of the world is the Shekhinah, which is the sum of all the contact moments of all the people, or at least of my whole life. What we go under the heading of the glory. The glory, Kovid, Kavod Hashem, Kovid, the root is heaviness, tangibility. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto. Blessed is the naming of the Kovid, of the tangibility of the kingdom of God, which is adding up all these some moments. The sum of all the moments of awareness is the glory, Kovid, tangibility of God, contact boundary. So we have the river coming down, wanting to come down. Meanwhile, all the moments of reality from my dream work and my experience are reaching up, trying to get to the river. But then according to the story of NACHMAN, but every time I get closer to it, to the river, every time I move close, the river somehow fades away. I can't find it anymore. Because again, I started focusing on doing it voluntarily rather than looking at it deductively rather than inductively. In other words, I got on a superhighway rather than being on the byways. Follow every byway until you get to your dream, but not every highway. The highways only lead to car accidents, one way or other. Traffic jams. Red lights. But the byways, kind of blind following, you might say. Just accomplishing more and more moments, more and more byways. Somehow allows me to move a little bit closer each time to the river without losing view of it. If I start looking to see it, it disappears. But if I just stay with the process of working here and now in the realities of my life, the situations. Right, so in that case, what did I learn from this dream about my life? Not to hold back, to be willing to give it all. So here's the conflict. On one hand, I want to give it all to get results. On the other hand, I don't want to give it all. There are limits. Stuck again. Back to the void. I'm still here. They say that, I've read that, the closer we get to Mashiach, the more the devil does his work to keep us from getting there. So this time, it's not so easy to find an image, an association. I keep thinking of all the reasons, the practical obstacles to having a match. Being 70 years old doesn't make much sense to have a match anyway. So now I'm the frustrator. Franklin, I set up this whole dream just to torture you, to make you come to face to face with your impractical fantasies here. Sober up. Remember here, you're 70 years old, got the income of a fly, and what kind of match you could find? Every time I meet a woman, she's my age, she seems like an old lady. It's hard to imagine wanting to be near her. And a young one doesn't make much sense either, because then they reject me. See, Franklin, I'm frustrating you. I put all these impossible obstacles in front of you. Frustrator, actually I've been pretty good at getting around you during my life. I don't give you that much chance to frustrate me. I usually do pretty well in finding a way to move ahead, to move closer to the river. So maybe right now I'm okay. After all, I'm doing what I want to do. Somehow or other, each time I do this process, I get a little more reality. Find a little more beauty, a little more truth. Okay, I don't find it all at one time, in one day. But I feel like association. Once when I was maybe 30 years old, studying music at Indiana University, and here I am in a practice room one day, and I'm talking to another graduate music student who's a very good pianist, and we're talking about goals. And I say something to him about him being a wonderful pianist one day, and what he says to me is, Franklin Wepner, you play on the heartstrings of life. Now that was before I even knew anything about Gestalt therapy. I had just begun to advertise the thing that I called a dance theater encounter group in Bloomington, Indiana, where there were a lot of artsy people around. And I was beginning to get a few people to come to that thing. And the wheels were beginning to turn to yank myself out of the framework of music composition, and to explode into the theater world of, experimental theater world of New York, and Gestalt therapy and all that. So he said it, playing on the heartstrings of life. That's it. That's what I'm doing here, playing on the heartstrings of life. All right. So that, if that's the case, at this moment, I feel like this particular tune is ended. The last beats of this tune, I don't know what else to do with it, so maybe I'll stop here. Somehow that image, though, is still very nice. I come back to that image. It's an image of these two houses with the children, with the music, with the buckets. That image, the language of the image, the music and the imagery, says something that I'm finding it very hard to say in words today. But I somehow trust that statement as being on the way